Welcome to our timeline. Timeline begins in 1896 with Plessy versus Ferguson, when the courts stated that separate but equal, that there could be segregation in schools. Moving to 1923 in Meyer versus Nebraska, the 14th Amendment Supreme Court decision that it was unconstitutional to ban foreign language instruction. 1954, the Board of Education Supreme Court decision, separate is not equal, reversing the Plessy versus Ferguson 1896, noting there was intentional segregation and desegregation has begun of schools. 1958, the National Defense Education Act gave financial support for foreign language instruction for the national defense in schools. 1964, the Civil Rights Act, federal government given the right to enforce desegregation and integration, and Title VI establishes the rights of language minority children. Also prohibits the discrimination on the basis of race, color, or national origin, and failure to comply with was loss of federal funding. In 1968, Congress passes Title VII, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, also known as the Bilingual Education Act. 1969, 74, 78, and 84 continues to be funding for ELL's children and their families. Bilingual Education Act continued. Title III funded dual language instruction, training for teachers and trainers, research activities, program evaluations, and a nationwide information for bilingual ed. There is also acknowledged the benefit of native language usage in school, using the words encouraged. Also provided an infrastructure for successful teaching and learning. 1974, Lau versus Nichols. ELLs are denied equal education opportunity in English-only classrooms. Precedent for other cases provided bilingual education in New York, California, and Texas. The Equal Education Opportunities Act also gave equal access to curriculum for ELLs. Education must be comprehensible and meaningful. It requires districts to develop programs based on research and evidence, provide trained teachers and appropriate materials, and evaluate and refine programs. 1975, the Lau decision was instrumental with the creation of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare and the Office of Civil Rights, with both provided guidance for compliance with the Lau remedies. 1982, Plyler versus Doe, Supreme Court decision that all children who are living in the U.S. have a right to go to school regardless of immigration status. Also implementing the NCAS, the National Coalition of Advocates for Students, and the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act to make sure that the immigration status of students' information wasn't shared with others and that families had privacy. 1998, PL 105-78, the Department of Ed bill allotted around $200 million to instruction of ELLs and $150 million for services to migrant children. Also in 1998, the UNS initiative banned primary language instruction in Arizona, California, and Massachusetts with a one-year expectation for English language learners to achieve proficiency in English. 2002, the reauthorization of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, known as the No Child Left Behind Act from George Bush. Title III goes from supporting L1 instruction to English only. The amount of money given nationwide is less money per child in this act. Also, it's mandated that there are achievement objectives for ELLs, participation in high stakes testing, and schools are held accountable if students don't make growth. 2015, Every Student Succeeds Act, college and career readiness is a focus, English language proficiency standards and assessments are expected. In 2016 to 2017, the transition from No Child Left Behind to Every Child Succeeds Act. 2017 and 18, expecting the full implementation with FLEPs included for up to 4 years in the monitoring process, which might make it show that English language learners are making more growth than they actually are. There's accountability, proficiency on tests, Also, the consideration of ELD levels of students, and focus on growth or graduation to show progress, and as well as showing evidence of learning. These assessments could be flexible, adaptive computer, single summative, or multiple assessments like portfolios, projects, or other things that show achievement or growth. But the L's must be included in the high-stakes testing. However, it can be a valid and reliable manner, including things like tests in native language and other ways to show growth. And the tests can be written in first language for up to 5 years. With the L's, there's a flexibility with the dissemination of test scores to the public. The ELD standards need to be aligned to state standards. The accountability for L's with disabilities and long-term L's that wasn't included before. And standards are designed for the ID of English language learners and their exit criteria from language programs to become proficient in English. Thank you very much.